I was recently asked by a relative to make a couple vanities, and this is what I came up with in SketchUp, and I've actually already built the cabinets and installed them, but I'm going to walk you through the process of making this larger vanity here in SketchUp, and maybe that'll give you a little bit better understanding of how I constructed these if you want to make some cabinets of your own. Now, keep in mind that there are several different methods to make cabinets, and I primarily used pocket holes for my joinery on this cabinet, and if you would like to use a different joinery method, then by all means do so. But I'm going to show you how I made this particular cabinet. So let's open up a new document and let's draw on the blue-green plane a rectangle, R for rectangle, from the origin, and let's just draw this up. My dimensions say the first number is the height, so let's go with 30 for the height, and a front to back measurement of 21 inches, enter. Now pretty much standard bathroom vanities are 30 inches tall, 21 inches front to back. Kitchen cabinets are typically 36 inches tall and 24 inches front to back. But anyway, now that I have my profile, let's P for push-pull, and let's pull this out 75 inches, enter. That's the length of this cabinet that I need to make. And just like the bar stools, I'm going to select all my faces and delete them one by one. Click and delete, and that leaves me with a wireframe that I can triple click, G for component, enter. This is the boundary box of my vanity. So that'll save me a lot of measuring and figuring. I can just drag and drop as needed. Let's draw the outside panels first. R for rectangle, and I'm going to draw this side. I also have a little toe kick down here, so R for rectangle, and I'm going to go 3, 3. I don't know if there's a standard dimension for this toe kick, but I've always just used 3 inches. That seems to do the job just fine. So let's click and delete that, and I've actually got a vertical line I need to delete and a horizontal line I need to delete. P4 push-pull, let's pull this out, 0.75 inches, enter. Typically on manufactured cabinets that I encounter, that I see that this piece of plywood is normally about 1/2 inch thick. I'm just going to use 3/4 inch thick plywood, or I did on this project, because I simply just didn't want to buy another piece of 1/2 inch when I could fit it all in 3/4. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Let's drop some color on here. I like to distinguish my parts with colors. M for move, control brings up copy from here all the way over to this corner. And I'm going to add some joinery to this, and I want it to update on the appropriate side, so I drug it along the red direction. Let's flip it along the red direction. And that just gives me a left and a right piece, and not 2 lefts or 2 rights. So actually, I just messed up. I did not take into consideration the thickness of the face frame when I made this. So let's double click to edit the part. And I could either push this in 3/4, push this in 3/4, or just use a window to select it all. And that selected every bit of this facing on this side. M for move, and let's move it along the green direction, 0.75 inches, enter. Basically push-pulled both of them at the same time. And what I did over here, of course, updated right there. Let's draw the face frame, and when you're working with cabinets, you want the outside of your face frame to be completely vertical with no interruptions, so that way you don't have any end grain being exposed. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a minute. R for rectangle from this corner, and I'm going to drop a rectangle like so. The first dimension is the longer of the two, and I want that to be 2 inches, comma, and by leaving the second dimension blank, it will only update the first one. 2 inches, comma. And it's not doing it, so let me back up. Don't know why. R for rectangle. There we go. 2 inches, comma, enter. There we go. P4 push-pull. And let's pull this to the bottom of this face right here. Spacebar, triple click. G for component, enter. Now let's grab the next color so we can distinguish parts. M for move, control brings up copy, and I'm going to grab this corner, holding shift to constrain to the red axis, and I'm going to drop it off into this corner. Now, I'm not going to make any joinery around these, so I'm not going to bother with flipping this left and right. Now, my horizontal pieces come next. So R for rectangle from this top corner, and I'm just going to drop a rectangle. The first one is my height, so I'll go with 2, comma, enter. P4 push pull, and let's just pull this all the way over there. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Let's drop another color on there, and M4 move, control brings up copy. Let's copy one right next to it and then add another 4.5, enter. I don't know if there's a standard depth of the opening for drawers, but I just measured some that I had here. 4.5 inches was fine, so that's what I went with. M4 move, control brings up copy, and I'm going to add another one here to the bottom. Now when you're making cabinet face frames or laying them out or just trying to figure out what you need, start with the outside pieces and make them vertical, and that way none of your end grain for these horizontal pieces will be shown from the side. So you go vertical, horizontal, and then vertical. You just flip-flop back and forth. Now, I don't really know how much space I need for the sink because I didn't know what kind of sink she wanted, so I'm going to make 2 fake drawers and then 2 regular drawers. T for tape measure, and let's just drop a guideline that is 17 inches away from this side right here. And I will draw a style. R for rectangle, and let's drop it off like so. First dimension is my width, and instead of going 2 inches, I need to go 2.5, enter. And the reason being is, let's P for push pull, and let's pull this up really quick. The reason being is this drawer front will overhang the entire perimeter of this opening by 1/2 inch. So this board only has a 1/2 inch opening that it has to take into consideration. This one is going to get the 1/2 inch from this side and then the 1/2 inch from this side. So you need to add a little bit more space so that the whatever's left over right here looks appropriate right here and right here. If not, things will start to look crowded in the middle. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. And let's just drop another color like we've been doing. M4 move, control brings up copy, and I'm going to copy this one right down here because it's in the correct orientation, the correct shape, but I'm going to right click and say you are unique. You are no longer a copy. That way I can change the color real quick. Spacebar, double click to edit the part. P4 push pull, and let's just pull this down to that reference point. Let's delete my guideline. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. T4 tape measure. Let's go 17 inches. Enter. Spacebar, use a window to only select what's inside this rectangle. M4 move, control brings up copy. Holding shift to constrain to red, I will copy it over to this dotted line. And I can delete that. Now this opening is way too big for just a single drawer, so like I said, I'm going to make 2 out of it. Copy this again. M4 move, control brings up copy. I'm grabbing the midpoint of this green piece, and I'm going to drop it off at the midpoint of this horizontal green piece, and that gives me a perfectly centered 2 pieces right here. Now these are different sizes. This is like 17 inches, and I think this is 14.5, something like that, 14 3/4, which is fine. I like to have different sizes but still remain symmetrical because it gives your eyes just something to look at. If the whole cabinet is everything the same exact size, it gets a little repetitive and boring in my opinion. So just changing up the dimensions while still remaining symmetrical, in my opinion, gives the eyes a little bit something to look at. So the face frame is done. And let's go ahead and let's actually work on the shelf. So R for rectangle, and I'm going to draw this just to remain horizontal. I'm just going to draw it on the ground real quick. P4 push pull, let's pull this up 0.75 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click to select everything. M4 move, and I'm going to grab this point. Pressing up on the keyboard will constrain me to the blue axis. And I'm going to drop it off so that the top of my shelf is constrained with the top of my opening here. And then I can P4 push pull and just pull it out to where it needs to be. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Now that just put my shelf in the appropriate location. Let's add a color to it. Whoops, wrong one. Right there. There we go. So we need some supports for this shelf, or else it's just going to fall down. R for rectangle from here to this bottom edge right there. My second dimension is the smaller of the two, and I'm just using 3/4 inch plywood. So to only modify the second dimension, I'll press comma, 0.75, enter. P4 push pull. Let's pull this all the way over here to this corner. Space bar, triple click, G4 component, enter. Now let's drop another color on top of that, and just to distinguish parts. Need another support here in the front. M4 move, control brings up copy, and let's drag this over to there. And that will be plywood support that won't ever be seen. But I want to cover up this plywood edge, so let's make a solid wood toe kick. R for rectangle from this corner all the way over to here. P4 push pull. Let's push this out 0.75 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G4 component, enter. Let's drop a color on it, and things are getting a little bit too close down there as far as colors go. So just drop another color on there. I'm doing a horrible job of making these contrasts, but that's okay. Alright, I'm done with my wireframe here, so I'm just going to select the wireframe and delete it. Now I've got 2 plywood supports here for the bottom of the shelf, and I also need one to connect these 2 corners. So let's just grab one of these. M4 move, control brings up copy, and just drop it off right there. Now the purpose of this is to give the back of the countertop something to sit on, and also you can reach in here and screw through this to secure the cabinet to the wall. Now to secure the countertop to the cabinet, we need something horizontal to screw through, so R for rectangle from this corner over to here. My first dimension is my left to right width, so let's type in 2, comma, enter. P4 push pull, let's push this down, 0.75 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G4 component, enter. M4 move, actually before I move it and copy it, let's just drop a color on there. And I'm running out of contrasting colors, so just whatever. M4 move, control brings up copy, and I'm just going to copy this all the way to the other side. Now I am going to do some pocket holes on this, so let's right click and say flip along the red. And that way when I add my pocket holes, it'll update on the appropriate side over here. So these 2 strips, you can, from the bottom side of the cabinet, you can screw through these into the countertop to secure it. Assuming that you're using countertop you can screw through. This wouldn't work with granite, obviously. Alright, let's build some doors, and to make the door, I'm going to make a little guideline first. So R for rectangle, from here to here, that is the opening. F for offset, and let's click on the inside and drag to the outside 0.5 inches, enter. This gives me a 1/2 inch overhang all the way around. Let's double click to get this center section away. Let's delete it, and I still have this whole piece right here. I'm going to go ahead and make this a component, that way it's just my reference guideline area. R for rectangle, and I'm going to go from here to here. Let's make the width of this style 2.5 inches. The second dimension is my width, so let's press comma, 2.5, enter. P4 push pull, let's pull this out 0.75 inches, enter. Now these are going to be tongue and groove, so let's just go ahead and draw that tongue really quick. R for rectangle from this midpoint, and I want the rectangle to be, let's see, the first one is my, let's go 0.25 comma 0.5, enter. Now that's the shape of it, but I need to center it, so let's grab this M4 move and let's drag it along the green axis and say let's center it over here to this point. P4 push pull, let's pull this all the way down, or push it all the way down to chop that away. So that gave me my perfectly centered 1/2 inch groove, I'm sorry, 1/4 inch groove that is 1/2 inch deep. Spacebar, triple click, G4 component, enter. M4 move, control brings up copy, and I'm going to go from one side of my boundary box to the other. Right click and flip along the red. Now you see why we've been flipping back and forth, because now we have a left and a right as opposed to 2 lefts. Let's click on our little guide box down here. We no longer need it, so let's delete it. And let's drop some color on these. R for rectangle, and let's draw the rails, and they go like so, and I'm actually just going to keep drawing all these rectangles. Grab the center line, delete it, center line, delete it. P for push pull, let's push this down 2.5 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Now I didn't make this bottom groove in here, and actually I'll go ahead and make it really quick. I was going to show you something else, but I can do that later. Let's double click to edit the part. L4 line from here to here, from here to here. This gives me a groove in the middle. Let's P for push pull. Let's just push this up 0.5 inches, enter. So now I have my groove for the panel. This piece fits in the grooves right here just fine. Let's grab this. M for move, control brings up copy from this corner, holding shift constrained to the blue axis, and let's just reference off one of these. Now we drug it along the blue, so we need to right click and say flip along the blue. I should have dropped my color beforehand, that way I don't have to do it twice, but that's not a huge deal. Let's just give it some color, that's just way too bright. There we go. So that's the door, and R for rectangle. I'm just going to draw this right here. P for push pull, this is the panel. And we're going to pull the panel just right there. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Now, the way I have the panel, it's not actually in that groove, and all of that stuff is hidden, so you can either use K for hidden lines, but that may be confusing to edit your dimensions. You could either use the X-ray button, and that still may be confusing, but what I like to do is when I don't really have a good visual but I know what needs to happen, let's just click on the part, M for move, control brings up copy, and let's just copy one off into space. I know that I need to go 1/2 inch on all directions, so let's just double click to edit the part, and P for push pull, let's pull this out 0.5 inches, enter. Let's pull this out 0.5 inches, enter. And then do the same thing with these two faces. Let's go down 0.5 inches, enter, and let's go out 0.5 inches, enter. Spacebar and click to get out of my part. So basically, these are copies. So what I did here automatically updated right there, except I never had to move my part to actually, or never had to move any of these to actually modify the dimensions. So I just modified a copy and then just delete it. So I changed the size of this without ever modifying it, just by using a copy. Let's select this, 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 and this by holding shift. Let's say G for component, enter. Now all of this door is a component. Let's M for move, control brings up copy, and let's holding shift to constrain to the red axis. Let's drop it off right there, and then we need to go 1/2 inch on the other side, so let's go another 0.5 inches, enter. Now that door is where it needs to be. Let's make another one for right here. Now we're going to have to edit this one because it's not the appropriate size, but that's okay. M for move, control brings up copy, and let's do the same thing. Let's drop it off right here, add another 0.5 inches this direction, and then let's explode this component because I made all parts this a component. Let's move this, M for move, let's move this style right there and then move it again 1/2 inch this way, just like we have been doing. So now my vertical boards here are in the appropriate spot. These are too long, same with this, and these are copies. So let's first off say click on this one, and say let's make these two unique from the other 4. So now what I update here, or what I modify here, will be updated right here, but not messing up these. So let's double click to edit the part, and instead of push pulling all of this stuff, let's use a window to select it like so, M for move, and let's move it this direction. Now before I drop this down, let's look at the length down there in dimensions. That says I'm subtracting 2 1/4 inch. So let's drop it off right there. And of course it updated right there. That 2 1/4, I got to do the same thing to this panel. So let's double click to edit the part, use a window to select the left hand side, M for move, and we're just moving just the small geometry, and it is a copy still. So let me back up. Right click and say make unique. Let's double click to edit this one, do the same thing. Use a window to select only the left hand side geometry. And for move, let's push this in 2.25, enter. Now it's in the appropriate location. So let's select this, holding shift to select this, this, and that center panel. G for component, enter. Now this panel is a door. This group component is, this door is a component. Holy cow. Excuse me. M4 move, control brings up copy. And let's copy it right there, and then another 0.5 inches, enter. So there's the doors. And this video is getting a little long, so I'm probably going to keep screwing up. But there's the doors. Let's make the drawers. I like to start with my front to back pieces as opposed to my left to right pieces. I guess the sides of my drawers. So let's R for rectangle. And let's just draw a piece. And the second dimension is my width, so I need to go comma 0.75 inches, enter. P4 push pull. Let's push this all the way to the back. And then let's subtract 0.5 inches from that. So that way it won't bottom out right there. Now, the drawer slide is about half of an inch off the base of here. So let's go 0.5, enter. And I also want to just put the bottom of the drawer right onto the bottom of the side. So let's push this again 0.375 because I'm going to use 3/8 of an inch plywood for the bottom of that. So that's my height that I have so far. And I also want some leeway up here. So let's just push it down again 0.25 inches. So that's pretty much the size of the drawer side that I need. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Let's drop a color on here. M for move, and the thickness of the drawer slides is typically 0.5 inches, enter. Now let's M for move, control brings up copy. Let's copy one of these all the way over to this side, and then taking into consideration the thickness of the drawer slide, which is 0.5 inches, enter. I can draw the bottom panel really quick by R for rectangle, starting here and stopping there. P4 push pull, let's push this down 0.375 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. And that's the bottom panel. I need a front and back piece, so R for rectangle from here to here. P4 push pull, let's push this in 0.75 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. M for move, control brings up copy. From here, holding shift all the way back to here. So that's my drawer, the exact size that I need, drawn out to this face frame and this cabinet, and all I have to do is just dimension this out, and I have a good template for the drawers. So let's select all of these. M4 move, control brings up copy, and I'm going to reference off the bottom right hand corner of this opening. That way I can just drop it off at the bottom right hand corner of this opening. So there's my two drawers. The drawer fronts are really easy. R for rectangle, this is what we have. F for offset, let's go another 0.5 inches, enter. Spacebar, double click, oh crud, back out. Double click to select this area and the perimeter, delete it. P4 push pull, and let's just push this out 0.75 inches, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Now that's my drawer front attached directly to my drawer, and it's got a same half of an inch overhang as the doors do. Now you can add whatever type of profile you want to the edges, or just leave it plain Jane like I did. M4 move, control brings up copy, and you can just reference off of anything really to go all the way to this other side. Well, if you can see it. There we go. And let's do the same thing. Let's grab this M4 move, control brings up copy. Let's drop this off right there. Let's right click and say you are unique. You are no longer a copy. P4 push pull. And let's actually double click out of the part. P4 push pull. Drop it off right there. Click to get out. Grab this, M for move, control brings up copy, and let's bring another one right there. So that is the cabinet, and I'm not going to add any more color here, but you can understand what we're doing. Also, something I didn't take into consideration when I made the original model is the drawer slides will attach to the face frame right here, but there's nothing to attach back here. So what I did is R for rectangle, and let's just go down. Of course I can't. Alright, let's go with 0.75 for the first dimension, comma, enter, P4 push pull. Let's pull this out, 2.5 inches, enter, and then let's pull this down at least to here, and then another 1 inch, enter. Spacebar, triple click, G for component, enter. Video is getting a little long, so let me speed up just a little bit. M for move, and I'm going to grab this corner, and holding shift to constrain to the red axis, I'm going to drop it there and then give it that 0.5 inches, enter. M for move, control brings up copy, and let's go all the way over to here, and then another 0.5 inches for the drawer slide, enter. Now let's drop it down 3/4 of an inch. Let's grab both of these. M for move, control brings up copy, and let's come over here, right click and say flip along the red direction. M for move, and let's move this to the side of the drawer, and then give it another 0.5 inches for the drawer slide. Now I'm going to pocket hole these into there, and that will give me enough space to attach a drawer slide to it. So that's the cabinet, but how do you want to do the general construction of this thing? Well, for the face frame you can use biscuits, but I'm going to use pocket holes. Let's go on the back side, and this horizontal piece is exposed, so let's just double click to edit the part. And this is how I represent pocket holes in making a plan. Let's go 2.5 inches, enter, and L for line from here to here. And instead of clicking again, let's just press L without moving the mouse, and that gives me a symmetrical arrow. Select this, G for component, enter. I made a component in a component. M for move, control brings up copy. Let's copy one right here. Spacebar, click this one. Q for rotate. And let's control to copy while we rotate like so. So now we got two in the other direction. M for move from the point. Like I said, I'm trying to speed up a little bit. This video is pretty long. All the way over to there. Now, the face frame, I've got 1, 2, and inside there, somewhere inside there, is another green horizontal piece. And it updated all my pocket holes where they need to be. Let's edit these green center styles. So let's double click to edit the part. L for line, and let's do the same thing. 2.5, enter, L for line down here. Let's draw the arrow like so. Spacebar, use a window to select just that. G for component, enter. M for move, control brings up copy from here to here. Spacebar, hold shift to select both of these. Q for rotate, and let's just rotate 2 more 180 by pressing the control button to copy. M for move, and remember we're still in the edit part mode for this green style. And I just put 2 pocket holes on the top, 2 pocket holes on the bottom, click to get outside of my part, and of course it updated to the copies. So that's all the pocket holes for the face frame. Actually, no, it's not. I gotta do these as well. But the cool thing is these are in appropriate orientation, so I can double click to edit this, grab that one, hold shift, grab that one, Control C for copy. Get out of my part, double click to edit this part, Control V for paste. And let's paste these two right like so. Q for rotate, and let's press Control to bring up copy as we rotate. M for move, and let's just drop these down on the bottom edge. So that represents pocket holes, pocket holes, pocket holes all over the place. Now I need to draw pocket holes on the inside of this, but I've got a bunch of crap in my way, so M for move, control brings up copy. Let's copy these outside here. Double click to edit the part. And here we go with more pocket holes. L for line, let's go 2.5 inches, enter. L for line, and let's make the arrow. Use a window to select only that. G for component, enter. M for move, control brings up copy. And let's copy this up. Let's go, I don't know, 8, enter, comma, 3. Whoops, what happened? Grab that. M for move, control brings up copy. Let's go 8, enter. Oh, I pressed comma 3. I need to do X3. X3, enter. And there we go, 1, 2, 3. That's good enough for me. Now, remember this is a copy, so it updated over here. That's the whole point of making this. So let's grab that and delete it. This is a copy from here, and I flip-flop, so the pocket holes are on the inside here, and they should be on the inside right there, like so. This board is going to be pocket holes screwed in there as well, and there's the pocket holes in the appropriate orientation. So let's double-click that at this part again. Grab this one, Control-C, go back into this one, and Control-V. They're already made in the appropriate orientation. Why draw them again if you can just copy them? Let's grab this one, M4 move, and move them like so. Let's grab both of these, Q for rotate, and rotate it around. M4 move, grab the front, and we're going to go to this other side, like so. Now, this bottom piece and this bottom piece are going to be pocket holes screwed into the bottom shelf, but they are copies of this one, and I don't want this one to update, so let's right-click and say you are unique. Now I can edit these. Grab this, Q for rotate, and let's just rotate one like so, M4 move, put this on the edge, M4 move again, Control brings up copy, grab this one, go, I don't know, 10 inches, enter, X6, enter, X7, enter. That works for me, works out rather well. So that's that. Now the bottom shelf, I want a pocket hole screw it into the side, and I also want a pocket hole screw it into the front face frame, but there's a bunch of crap in my way, so let's M for move, Control brings up copy. Let's drop a copy, let's edit the copy, and it will update right there. So let's edit this part. L4 line, let's draw 2.5 inches, enter. L4 line for the arrow. Something like that. Sure, that works. G for component, enter, M4 move, Control brings up copy. I'm drawing on the wrong plane. Let's just go ahead and delete that. L4 line, 2.5 inches, enter, L4 line again from here to here. Like so. There we go. G for component, enter. M4 move, Control brings up copy, and let's copy another one. 10 inches that way. Actually, let's go with 8, enter. X2, enter. Good enough for me. Let's grab both of these. Q for rotate, and let's rotate them around. M4 move, and let's put them on this edge over here. There we go. Q for rotate, let's grab this one. Q for rotate, let's copy another one down like so. M for move, and let's put it on the edge. M for move, Control brings up copy, let's copy another one on edge. 10 inches, enter. X6, enter. X7, enter. That works for me, that worked out really well. So now I have the pocket holes in the appropriate orientation to attach to the face frame. Of course, both of these will attach to the side. It's much easier to edit a copy when there's a bunch of crap in your way, so let's just go ahead and delete the copy. And I think that might be it. Drawers, you can pocket hole screw these. You can make these however you want to. I'm not going to represent that. And this board right here, it's not really that important to draw it out, but it gets pocket hole screwed into here and here, all along the side, and then back here and back here. So that was a rather lengthy video. If you stuck around this far, then kudos to you. But that's typically how I make my cabinets. A lot of different ways to make them, but that's the general construction for me.